Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is Michael and Hunu here. I'm a Japanese person who wants to speak English fluently, even though I've never studied abroad, and I create videos for Japanese learners. My video topics are completely random. Sorry about that, but I just make them as they come to me. Yeah, I know I should be more strategic about them though. All right, so today I'm going to talk about Kansai Dialect, especially Osaka Dialect, because I was born and raised in Osaka. But now I've lived in Kanto for longer than I ever lived in Osaka. I hardly ever get the chance to speak Osaka Dialect these days. But since I'm a native speaker of Osaka Dialect, I can still do it. I can still speak it. Okay, so when greeting people in Kanto dialect, I'd say, 皆さんこんにちは、マイコです. Yeah, as I always say in my videos. But in Osaka dialect, I'd say, 皆さんこんにちは、マイコです. Yeah, pretty different, right? When written, they look exactly the same, but they sound completely different, right? Also, when I want to say something like, hey, listen, in Kanto dialect, I'd say, ねえねえ聞いて. But in Osaka dialect, it becomes, なあなあ聞いてや. Yeah, they're totally different. Osaka dialect, unlike Kanto dialect, has a unique intonation. It feels like the rise and fall of the tones within the sentence are much more dramatic compared to Kanto dialect. Maybe it's because of the culture that values humor. So people tend to speak in a slightly exaggerated way to sound more amusing. Since it has such a distinct rhythm, if you spend time with Kansai people, you might pick up their intonation without realizing it. Speaking of intonations, common examples of words that have different intonations in Kansai and Kanto dialects are ame and ame. In Kanto, rain is ame, and drops candy is ame. But in Kansai, rain is ame, and candy drops is ame. Sometimes even ame-chan with chan. So in Kanto, people say, 雨が降ってきた. Oh, it's starting to rain. Or, 今日は一日雨みたいだね. It looks like it's gonna rain all day. And in Kansai, people say, 雨降ってきた. Oh, it's starting to rain. Or, 今日は一日雨みたいやな. It looks like it's gonna rain all day. By the way, when you hear Osaka dialect, what phrases come to mind? Maybe akan, meccha, honma, ookini, or nande yanen. Is akan the most well-known one? You can use akan when you want to say, you can't do that, or that's not allowed. It's also used when you feel like giving up, like saying, I can't do this anymore, or I just can't do it. In Kanto dialect, people would say dame instead. For example, if you're making treats to give to a friend and your family try to sneak a bite, you can say, あかんよ. 食べたらあかんよ. Hey, no, you can't eat that. Or, あかんで. それ食べんといて. Hey, no way, don't eat that. In Kanto dialect, they'd be like, ダメ. 食べたらダメ. Hey, no, you can't eat that. Or, ダメ. それ食べないで. Hey, no way. Don't eat that. Also, when you are trying really hard to do something but feel like you just can't go on anymore, you can say, もうあかんわ。無理. I can't do this anymore. It's impossible. In Kanto dialect, it would be, もうダメだ。無理. I can't do it anymore. No way. You can also use akan when something isn't going well. For example, you can say, これあかんわ or これあかんな, which means this isn't working or this is bad. In Kanto dialect, it'll be like これダメだな or これダメだね. Alright, next up is meccha. I feel like meccha is now used all over Japan. Even in Kanto, people use meccha. Well, the accent might be a little different though. In Kanto, they always pronounce meccha with a high pitch on cha, like in これめっちゃかわいいね. This is so cute. But in Kansai, you might hear めっちゃ with a flat tone, or sometimes with cha rising. For example, これめっちゃかわいいやん. This is so cute. The pitch stays flat. めっちゃ. And これめっちゃ美味しいやん. This is so tasty. The cha rises. めっちゃ. Apparently, when the adjective after meccha starts with a high-pitched syllable, like kawaii, cute, or takai, high or expensive, meccha stays flat. On the other hand, when the adjective starts with a low-pitched syllable, like oishii, tasty, or nonbiri, laid back, the cha part of meccha goes up. Just so you know, in Kanto dialect, it's not kawaii, but kawaii, and not takai, but takai, and not oishii, but oishii, and not nonbiri, but nonbiri. Anyways, let's move on to honma. Honma means honto and kanto, and honma or honmani can be used like really in the same way as honto or hontoni. Now, let's try saying thank you so much in Osaka dialect and Kanto dialect. ほんまありがとう。ほんまにありがとう。ほんとありがとう。本当にありがとう。Also, when you want to agree with something a close friend said, like saying indeed or I totally agree with you, you can say ほんまやで in Osaka dialect and 本当だよ in Kanto dialect. When you want to say really or for real in Osaka dialect, you can say ほんまほんまに and in Kanto dialect, it's like 本当本当に Okay, next step is ookini. Ookini is something you hear quite often from shopkeepers or shop staff in Kansai, but I don't think regular Kansai people use it that much. I've almost never said it myself. I've only used it on Line app as a sticker. Actually, even though I'm from Osaka, I'm from the Hokusatsu region, which is in the northern part of Osaka, so I may not be as influenced by Osaka culture compared to people from the southern part of Osaka. My father is from Hyogo and my mother is from Ehime Prefecture in Shikoku, which probably also plays a role. People who have lived in the southern part of Osaka for generations might be more likely to use phrases like ookini regularly. Alright, the last phrase I introduced is nande. This comes from the comedy culture in Kansai. In Kansai comedy, there's a key concept called boketo tsukomi, the act of being the fool and the act of pointing out. And regular Kansai people use this in daily life too. To make things funnier, someone intentionally says something odd, something that totally out of place for the situation, like when someone is making up poke. In response, the other person pointed out, saying something like, "No way, why would that happen? That's ridiculous." This is the making up to comic part. This back and forth is the basic structure of Kansai comedy. And namdeanen is the most famous and simplest expression used for tsukomi. So if someone says something weird, you have to call them out on it. Otherwise, it'll be rude, and the person who said the odd thing would feel awkward. Kansai people always make tsukomi to each other. Alright, we've looked at some common Kansai phrases, but another big feature of Osaka dialect is how sentences end. Words like ya, yade, yang, nen, and yanen all give Kansai dialect its unique flavor. Ya in Kansai dialect replaces ndayo in Kanto dialect. For example, if we want to say press here, it'll be ここを押すんだ in Kanto dialect, but it'll be ここを押すんや in Kansai dialect. Also, when we want to say something like that kid is still an elementary schooler, it'll be あの子はまだ小学生だよ in Kanto, but in Kansai, it becomes あの子はまだ小学生や. If you want to emphasize it even more, you can say yade instead of ya, like あの子はまだ小学生やで. That kid is still an elementary schooler, you know. Yam in Kansai dialect is similar to でしょ, だよね, or じゃん in Kanto dialect. For example, when you say, we knew that from the beginning, right? You say, それは最初から分かってたことじゃん in Kanto dialect. But in Kansai dialect, you say, それは最初から分かってたことやん. And when you say, you were just sleeping a moment ago, you say, さっきまで寝てたじゃん in Kanto. But in Kansai, you say, さっきまで寝てたやん. Yanen is similar to nanda. For nouns and adjectives, you use yanen. 明日彼女と初デートなんだ would be 明日彼女と初デートやねん in Kansai dialect, which means I have my first date with my girlfriend tomorrow. For verbs, you use nem instead of yanen. 明日から旅行に行くんだ which means I'm going on a trip starting tomorrow, becomes 明日から旅行に行くねん in Kansai. Wa works like yo and it's used by both men and women. In anime and manga, wa is often used for elegant ladies or old-fashioned characters like mams from the Showa era, but in real life, it's just a casual way to add emphasis. For example, じゃあ2時に電話するよ is the meaning of, alright, I'll call you at 2. It'll be じゃあ2時に電話するわ in Kansai. And lately, I feel like even some people in Kanto have started using wa that way. If a mom in an anime said that, it would be じゃあ2時に電話するわ. Yeah, a show where mom's wa gradually rises in pitch, but in Kansai dialect, people say wa in a lower tone. Oh, I forgot something important. It's the negative things. In Kansai dialect, we use him instead of nai for negation. For example, わからない becomes わからへん and もう食べられない becomes もう食べられへん. If you are using the ranuki kotoba, like 食べれない, in Kansai dialect, it would be 食べれへん instead. Also, when saying no or that's wrong, instead of saying 違う, Kansai people say chau. When you want to say no, no, not that one, this one, it would be 違う違う、そっちじゃなくてこっちだって in Kanto dialect, but in Kansai dialect, it would be ちゃうちゃう、そっちじゃなくてこっちやって. Oh yeah, there's a fun wordplay with the Kansai expression ちゃうちゃう. It's like the one where you say 庭には鶏がいる. There are two chickens in the garden, you know. Do you know the dog breed called Chow Chow? When you want to say, that's not a Chow Chow, isn't it? In Osaka dialect, you'd say, それチャウチャウちゃうんちゃう? In Kanto dialect, it would be, それチャウチャウじゃないんじゃない? But in Osaka dialect, じゃない changes to ちゃう and じゃない becomes ちゃう. So it becomes チャウチャウちゃうんちゃう. It's pretty funny, right? Okay, thank you for sticking with me through my poor English. I briefly talked about Kansai dialect, or rather, Osaka dialect. How was it? I hope I get a chance to speak Osaka dialect every now and then. At the end of this video, I might try speaking a little bit in Osaka dialect. I'll try saying what I just said in Osaka dialect. はい。私の下手な英語にお付き合いいただきありがとうございました。関西弁っていうか大阪弁について軽く話してみたんですけど、どうでした？関西弁、たまには喋る機会があるといいなと思いました。Okay, if I said that in Kanto dialect, it would be like this. はい。私の下手な英語にお付き合いいただきありがとうございました。関西弁っていうか大阪弁について軽く話してみましたけど、どうでした？関西弁、たまには喋る機会があるといいなと思いました。Which one do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments if you'd like. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video. Bye!